yet. You probably hated me today when you stepped outside. Temperatures have been dropping through the day. It's been cold, and then the winds have kicked up. It's going to be a chilly day. Light jackets, what you're going to need throughout all day parts. 46 degrees at the 7 o'clock hour. If you're going to check out Tinashe, she's hitting the stage at 8 at Buckhead Theater. It's going to be a chilly evening, dipping back into the 30s as we head into the overnight.
Multiple first alert weather days, all for the heat.
Yeah, it's going to be hot.
Okay.
I already said I'm going to plan to be inside all day Saturday, and I'm going to be eating what we call cold cups, frozen cups. Basically Kool-Aid that's frozen in the plastic cup.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that Louisiana?
It's the Louisiana
Okay,
thing. If you're from New
say.
Orleans or you're from Louisiana, you know what I'm talking about.
That sounds
Those
like
cool cups
Louisiana.
are really the move. It is going to be brutal this weekend. 8 o'clock as folks are punching the clock. Feeling like 5 degrees, but if you're not going to work, this is a good day for gumbo because it is going to be cold all afternoon. By around 2 o'clock, feeling like the upper 20s. Those feel like temperatures only get into the lower 30s at 4 o'clock. We'll see moisture return on Sunday. First alert for scattered rain. This is trending wetter a little bit earlier in the day. Yesterday, this looked like a late afternoon, early evening event, but guidance is starting to hint that we could see some rain move in as early as mid-morning and stick around for bulk of the day. So if you were planning on getting out and about this weekend, Saturday is the day to plan your outdoor activities. This is short sleeves and shorts for the afternoon type weather. 80 degrees right now here in Atlanta. We're matching that in Athens. A little bit warmer right now in Eatonton. Meanwhile, it's the mid to upper 70s once you head north of the city. No matter how you slice it, though, this is a fantastic afternoon. Green light to get out and about this evening, whether that's to go for an outdoor run, a bike ride, or maybe enjoy a nice bottle of wine or glass of wine out on the backpack.
This is the kind of weather I had in mind when I moved to the Atlanta area.
Yeah,
I wish we could just keep this.
If we could bottle this up and make every day of the year like this, I don't think many people would be mad. It just feels amazing. Gorgeous skies out there, beautiful sunshine. That's going to continue into the late afternoon and early evening. Temperatures will gradually start to warm, though, as we head through the work week. And we're going to be flirting with record highs by the time we head closer to the weekend, getting into the lower 80s. As far as rain is concerned, there's just not a whole lot of moisture around. We are watching a cold front that's going to slide through the area Sunday into Monday, and that's going to give us a very low end chance for a spotty shower. So that will be something we're watching for. Meanwhile, right now, it's 78 degrees from Atlanta through Marietta into Lawrenceville and Athens. And I expect those numbers to nudge up a degree or two over the course of the next couple of hours. But by 6 o'clock, we're back down to the mid 70s. Mostly clear skies, radiational cooling doing its thing through the overnight, and we all slide into the upper 40s and lower 50s. So 47 for the start of the day in Cartersville and Villa Rica, closer to 49 in Marietta. Atlanta, the always perpetual warm spot through the overnight, will dip to 53 degrees. Another gorgeous afternoon on tap for your Tuesday. A lot of sunshine. A few clouds try to move into East Georgia, but I don't think most of us see any of that. And the numbers will rebound. I think that we get out of the 50s as we head through the later parts of the morning. Already at 71 degrees around lunchtime. This is going to be the perfect afternoon to sit outdoors for lunch. If you're taking the kids out to the park, upper 70s through around 3 o'clock. Temperatures trending cooler again as we head into the evening. And I mentioned that we warm as we head through the next few days. Keep in mind, the seasonal average is 73 degrees, and we're going to be above that for the bulk of this 7-day forecast. And we're actually going to be nearly 10 degrees warmer than average as we head closer to the end of the week. Friday is that day that we start to get very close to flirting with record highs. A lot of sunshine through the week. We're watching a cold front that's going to gradually start to sink down. You can see how there's some moisture to the north of us. Not a whole lot of that moisture manifests itself as it slides through North Georgia, but we're going to give it a 20% chance of a stray sprinkle. Don't expect to get soaked by this. The bigger story here will be the temperature drop on the back end. We're going to go from the low 80s through the beginning of the weekend to the mid 70s on Sunday, and then eventually dip into the upper 60s as we head closer to Monday. Now, we're keeping an eye on the tropics. Tropical storm Oscar out there with winds sustained to 40 miles per hour. A lot of folks in Cuba actually been without power before this storm made landfall because of some issues with the grid. So no doubt this is just going to compound that issue. Thankfully, this storm is not going to intensify. It's overland, and it's going to barely hang on to tropical storm status, forecast to move northward as we head closer to the middle of the week. Yeah, we've been watching this, and the setup is kind of panning out exactly how it was forecast to. We've seen waves of rain move in throughout the day. It's been gloomy. It's been very nasty. That will continue. We've also been dealing with this cool wedge. So this rain is just not rain. It's a cold rain that's actually helping us out, at least across the eastern part of the state. We'll get into why in just a few minutes. What we are expecting to track as we head into into the later hours this evening is a warm front to the south gradually starting to lift northward. And as it does, it's going to bring some less stable air into the region. And that's why there's a chance for a few storms as we head into the overnight hours. Some of those storms could be strong to severe, especially the further south and west you go. We have this area here shaded in yellow, a level 2 out of 5 risk for storms that could produce some gusty winds and even a brief tornado. We're really going to be watching the area where you see kind of this little circle here, because that's the area that we are forecasting to be the most unstable as we head into the evening hours. Scattered showers right now on first alert radar moving through the area inside of the city of Atlanta. We've seen a lot of improvement, still gloomy, still tracking some drizzle out there, some lighter showers on the eastern wall of the perimeter stretching all the way into Lawrenceville and Snellville. The heavier rain well to the north of us, and that will continue to lift further north as we head through the next couple of hours. Right now, if you're in Ellijay, you're picking up on some heavier downpours. It's just starting to push into the area. This is moving very swiftly to the northeast, and as it races to the northeast, it'll arrive in Blue Ridge at around 4:55, pushing into Blairsville at around 5:15, and if it holds together, this will be in Helen just before 5:30. Just heavy downpours. Going to be heavier than the steady rain that we've been tracking across the region over the course of the last hour. And you can see that there's plenty of it stretching through Dawsonville into Dahlonega. Helen, you have some rain that's going to get a little bit heavier right now over the next few minutes. And those showers will continue to push into the area as we head through the next couple of hours. Now, take a look at the 8 o'clock timestamp. We're expecting another wave of rain to start to build in. And that's where we're going to really start to watch the temperatures, because as that warm front starts to lift north, we're going to see something that happens typically in the afternoon happen in the evening. We're going to see those temperatures start to rise, especially if you look in the southwestern corner of our viewing area. 54 degrees in LaGrange at 11 o'clock. As we head into the very early morning hours, we shoot into the mid 60s, and that's going to be some very unstable air. So that's why we'll be watching for some of the strongest storms to develop in that region. The further east you are, you got lower temperatures, low 40s, upper 30s. So you're going to be a little bit more stable, less chance for severe storms. By 7 o'clock, all this energy is pushing to the south and east, and we will drop that first alert weather day, and we'll trend drier for the second half of the day. Not only are we dealing with storm potential, but we're also watching for flood potential. We told you about the flood watch that's in effect until tomorrow morning. We're expecting another 1 to 3 inches of widespread rain across the region as we head through the area. Anybody that's in any of these counties, you are under that flood watch through tomorrow. That system pushes on out as we get into the morning hours, and the clouds will gradually decrease as we head into the afternoon, which is going to set the stage for partly cloudy skies as you get off work Thursday, and an improving forecast, at least as far as the skies are concerned. Temperatures, however, are only going to top out in the mid to upper 50s, depending on where you are tomorrow. So pretty much par for the course, and we'll see that forecast pretty much duplicated as we head into your Valentine's Day. If you're stepping out for a coffee date with a new friend, upper 30s, you'll need to bundle up. Having lunch date, low 50s with plenty of sunshine. If you're stepping out for dinner Friday night, we're at 52 degrees, a little chilly with cooler numbers as we head into the overnight hours. That nightcap is going to need to come with a jacket. Another first alert weather day on Sunday. Very early in the morning, we're going to be watching the highest risk for strong to severe storms to the west, but we do expect that to at least maintain itself, which means that we could see some strong to severe storms very early Sunday morning. You'll want to have that first alert weather app downloaded. Temperatures trending to the upper 40s by Monday afternoon. We had this confirmed part of the tornado that was moving into the area earlier. They're continuing that warning, but it is no longer confirmed. But there's another area of rotation that just crossed the border, and they've reissued the warning for that area. If you're in any of these areas where you just have been listed as the potential for a tornado to move into your area, it's important for you to act, right? And act calmly, right? This is something that we see regularly. Our game plan should always be the same. We want to find our safe space. We want to get to that part of the house that is going to be the best to protect me and my family. So your safe space is always going to be an interior room, right? You never want to be in the outdoors. You don't want to be exposed to these outdoor walls. Anytime that you see videos and images of areas that have been rocked by tornadoes or even sometimes strong winds, you always can sometimes see like straight into the house. You can see into the bedroom. The trees are through the bedroom. You can, because those are typically on the corners, right? So they're the closest to those trees. They're the closest to the outside elements, and they're going to give you the least, the smaller, or the weakest barrier to the outside elements. So you always want to be indoors. The interior closet is a move. The interior hallway, that's a safe space. Underneath the stairs, that is going to be a safe space. Now, your best bet, hands down, will always be to go underground. So if you do have a basement, that is going to be where you want to be. As First Alert Chief Meteorologist Jennifer Valdez just told you, 3 separate areas of circulation. Out of the 3, the one that is in Murray County headed towards Gilmer Fannin looks the least impressive. Having conversations with the National Weather Service because they're having the same issue with looking for that circulation. It's not quite as compact as it was earlier. And we mentioned at the top of this stream that typically for these storms, we're looking at the Huntsville radar site. Well, unfortunately, these storms rolled through Huntsville, produced tornado, and knocked the radar offline. So we're having to use our local radar. And our thinking is we're going to watch a couple more scans. But if the rotation signature continues to be faint, we could see the National Weather Service continue this downwind as a severe thunderstorm warning. And that's something that they will make.
And it looks like they just did. So Gilmer County now a severe thunderstorm warning until 11:30.
Yeah. So that was the conversation we were having, and it looks like they are continuing that downwind as a severe thunderstorm warning. Rotation near the border of Alabama and Georgia, and it is pushing to the east. So it's unfortunately going to go over some of the same areas that have already had that confirmed tornado move through the area. So if you are in that area and you are in your safe place and you were thinking, okay, the worst has happened, because admittedly we can hear whenever the wind goes down a little bit, we can hear whenever things kind of go back to just being a rain. You can't do that in this area because you have another rotation center that is moving into your area, and they've reissued a tornado warning for that. So if you're in Chattooga County, you need to stay put, right, until we tell you that you are good, because unfortunately, it looks like some of these areas may have 2 circulations that pass over them as we head through the next couple of hours. And it's going to make the map look messy, but that is the takeaway here. We have 2 separate circulation centers that are moving through Chattooga County. See if we can see if these hell cores have been pulsing all day this afternoon. They've been pulsing, and we're getting a little bit of that right now. We're not getting larger hail, but what we are seeing, at least with these latest radar scans, is that the hail core, the area that hail is falling, is starting to expand. Remember, it was just to the west of Villa Rica, and this pink color here was a very, very small shading. Now it's covering more real estate here, and we can zoom in. This is Douglas County, northwestern Douglas County. This is going to be just south of South Paulding High School, moving through Flying Ranchettes, Villa Rica, Ephesus Heights, moving into White City, and this is going to be just to the north of Bay Springs Middle School. This whole little quadrant right here is where we're picking up radar estimates of hail that's about, this is probably an inch in diameter. Right, yeah, an inch in diameter hail here. That's what we call quarter size, the size of an actual quarter picking up in this thunderstorm. We have to watch this because this is expanding, right? Something we've seen with some of these hail cores over the course of the last few hours is that they expand, and then in the center of that expansion, you can get sometimes larger hail cores, and that's what we're seeing. Latest radar scan is actually notching that up a little bit in the White City area and also to the south of Ephesus Heights. You can see just within that last radar scan, we were just talking about how the hail core gets a little bit bigger, and at some point, sometimes you can get a slightly larger production of hail out of this. So moving into the White City now, we're talking about 1.5 inches hail. That's going to be a little bit smaller than golf ball size, but still a decent chunk of ice coming out of the sky here. Same for folks that are in Ephesus Heights now. So something that we're watching unfold right before our eyes with this thunderstorm. And there's a lot of ways we can look at thunderstorms, right? We can dive into them, see how they are intensifying. One way you can see that a thunderstorm is intensifying is by doing a cross-section analysis. This is TV. We're not going to do that on TV. That's nerdy stuff for us behind. But we can basically see how tall the thunderstorms are growing in the atmosphere. If it keeps increasing in height, you have a developing thunderstorms, and sometimes you can see those. Everybody in school, we talked about cumulonimbus clouds, right? Typically, the taller they are, the stronger the storm. That's essentially the same thing. We can use radar to slice it and see how tall the storm is. Another thing we can see is the trends in lightning. Typically, if you see more lightning strikes, an increase in the lightning strikes, that's a way of saying that the storm is getting a little bit more energetic. With hail, whenever you start to see larger hail cores, so we're going to have a little science lesson. It's going to be real short. The way that hail is developed in these thunderstorms, you got updraft, you got downdraft. Sometimes these ice crystals, they get caught up in the updraft, downdraft. Whenever you look at a hail, you look at a piece of hail, it actually looks like it's been through it, right? It's not a smooth surface. It looks like it's been it's been building on each other. And that's exactly what happens, because as the hail goes up higher in the atmosphere, it gets cold. It comes back down a little bit in the downdraft, and it starts to melt just a little bit. But before it can come down and completely melt, it gets caught back up in the updraft and goes back up and refreezes. So that's why hail cores kind of look like they have layers, right? So the stronger the updraft, the larger the hail core typically is, because it'll keep shooting that hail back up. And at some point, the hail gets large enough, heavy enough to actually fall